Hi, folks. Welcome. Um, yeah, nice to see your names. There are a couple rogue live streams that were happening that were set somehow. I couldn't control it, but set to private. So you could maybe see the video, but um, there wasn't a chat. And I know we need our chat. We need our emojis and our good mornings and the Sangha, and it makes YouTube actually pretty great. I love seeing all of that. So if you're on a stream that doesn't have a chat, just refresh or go back to the IMC YouTube page and should be able to get it. Um, okay, so welcome all. Okay, so it's our Friday here, and sit in a moment. Um, Sometimes it's occurred to me that excuse me, it's occurred to me that all thinking is coping. Coping is maybe has a pejorative kind of tone, but no, it's like, yeah, we think to cope in one way or another, and very powerful that we can do that as animals, and so it gets reinforced at such a deep level. And the Dharma is about doing something a little new and to actually release our coping strategies, our kind of moment by moment coping strategies. We need something like faith. And the faith we need is a faith in silence, that it's safe to let go, a faith in letting go, a faith in love, and a faith that it's okay, safe enough to stop reading the signals of our body, the kind of affective stimulation, the emotional activation, the state of arousal, valence, to to cease reading that as indicative of threat or opportunity, and to, in a sense, all the feeling that we feel means the same thing to let go. So we'll practice and explore. So finding a posture that feels sustainable. just bringing some soothing to your body mind. Everything looks different from the perspective of tranquility. So maybe we take some fuller breaths, relax the jaw, area around the eyes, temples. Relax our belly, soft belly. Some reassurance that it's not neglectful to put down complications, the loose ends of our life, the problems that need to be solved. It's not, can feel like neglect not to chew on those at all moments. It's okay to put them down. It's not neglect. In the end, our thinking cannot protect us from life, but our heart training can do so much. So we nurture kind of faith in silence, the present moment doesn't wish to hurt you. Letting go doesn't wish to cost you. It is our deep habit to overread all phenomena, to make them mean too much. But maybe today, maybe just for a moment, we stop. The movements of our mind, so innocent, so innocent that we scramble and cope. But if all we do is scramble and cope, fatigues the heart. The silence doesn't care even a tiny bit who we think we are. We come to listen to the silence, take our cues from it, trust it, keep letting go into it. Okay. So was reading a book about William William James, and who was yeah uh, got the potency of the Dharma, and this is from his dad, actually, kind of intense quote I saw. So James's dad says, every person who has reached even their intellectual teens begins to suspect that life is no farce, that it is not genteel comedy, that it flowers and fructifies, on the contrary, out of the profoundest tragic depths of the essential dearth in which its subjects' roots are plunged. The natural inheritance of everyone who is capable of spiritual life is in an unsubdued forest where the wolf howls and the obscene bird of night chatters. It's a little grim, maybe, but speaks to something important. Life is no farce. It's no farce. Great, as the Zen folks say, great is the matter of life and death. And so, uh, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? What is actually on offer in this path? What 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 is the Buddha's promise? And to meet the kind of existential intensity of the human condition with some modicum of dignity, to meet it with some modicum of dignity, that takes training, not thinking, but training. And it's easy for it to happen this way, but we're not here to graft the Dharma into the infrastructure of our neurosis. We're actually doing something that is new, like something that is different and new and takes courage because it's unfamiliar to the kind of habit energies that run our lives. So this is Ayakema. She says, on the spiritual path, we have to try something new. In fact, spiritual path takes quite a lot of courage because it means chucking out the old without knowing what the new one is actually like. If we don't have that courage, we can't go on such a path. And so this path of relinquishment, surrender, letting go, all of that, relinquishment, surrender, silence, letting go, all of that feels like risk, feels like risk. A certain kind of sense of the extra vulnerability we encounter. That's what I was alluding to when I said it feels like neglect almost, to put our thought down, to put the knots of our life down, to put our problems down, not to try to solve them in every moment. Feels like neglecting a loved one or something. It feels like risk. It leaves us feeling especially vulnerable. And so we hold on in our lives, we hold on in our meditation, we hang on to what's familiar, and we just keep pinging to all the familiar reference points But there are many Dharma places to which we cannot bring our knowing, many Dharma places to which we cannot bring our preferences, many Dharma places to which we cannot continue to hum the song of self. We're doing something new. And to even get a taste of the newness, we have to relinquish something of what we've always done. So Nisargadatta said the search for reality is the most dangerous undertaking, for it will destroy the world in which you live. Search for reality is dangerous. It destroys the world in which you live. We've sort of acclimatized to our own world of personal meetings, over-reading the signals, over-reading our feeling and thought, over-reading. And Dharma practice is relaxing all of that energy of over-reading. This is hard. It's hard to trust that we actually find our power by opening deeply to helplessness. It's like very counterintuitive for our system that we actually find our power, our dignity in opening to helplessness. And maybe that's the kind of faith required to let go, that we trust, like, yeah, to trust in the silence, finding our power entails like consciously experiencing uh, helplessness, the helplessness of dukkha, of the first noble truth that there is suffering, the helplessness of the dearth into which the roots are plunged, as James said. And so we uh, we find our power in this way. We find our peace when we don't insist on it. When we don't insist on it, we find ourselves by relinquishing ourselves. So letting go moves us towards freedom, but often hurts some, often hurts some. And to trust that the suffering we encounter in practice is effective suffering. It's not the suffering that compounds suffering that leads to more suffering. To trust that this is effective suffering, to trust that this hurt is not harming. That takes some faith. And so we hold on to something we trust, even though it we're not sure it'll support us. Feels like a thin strand. As Ajahn Sujito says, awakening is based on the process of letting go. Letting go is about carefully revealing assumptions, biases, life messages, and releasing them. You can liken the process to a gradual descent out of the tumult and gridlock of your personal world into the free space of the unconditioned. It's rather like lowering oneself down a rope. To know how to do that, it's a matter of holding on to something you trust, even though it seems like a thin strand, then letting go little by little, trusting the downward pull. This is the trajectory of non-engagement and abandonment. The descent out of the gridlock of your personal world. We make that descent with faith, actually, faith. Many of the kind of gateways that we get to, thresholds in our Dharma practice, a door where we're letting go more deeply, understanding something in a fresh way. When we get to that gate, what what um, what what opens that door is not our willfulness, but our faith that whatever's on the other side of that gate will not harm us. And so we trust that downward pull, the kind of this kind of gravity, maybe we say, is safe. And into that that kind of wondrous, dark, open space of relinquishment. Yeah, there are fewer and fewer signposts, fewer and fewer, like we, in some ways, our life is just lived. We keep like orienting to this. What happens when there are fewer and fewer signposts? So the signposts of preferences, the signposts of the story of self, signposts of self, other, past, future. It's like all the kind of accoutrements of self. We just relax and trust that downward pull. And to to care more about awareness than our life, more about this moment than my problems, even if that's just for a moment. That takes faith. And even if it's just for a moment, that moment detonates something in the heart. And we begin to inherit the Dharma, share it, and be grateful for it. So I offer this for consideration. We'll pause here. Thanks for having me for this week. I know I am the sub, and yeah, I will in April on Wednesday evenings. I'll start a weekly group on this channel. Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. I'm actually awake then, and um, and I'll be this format, a 30-minute sit and then a short talk. So we'll get that posted on IMC's website. And one more announcement: IRC, in collaboration with Big Bear Retreat Center, we're going to do a Dana-based retreat at Big Bear, a couple hours outside of LA. Gorgeous center of being there, and that'll be in July 9th through 13th. So it'd be great to see some of you. We'll get that posted soon, and so keep your eyes open for that. I love that have Dana-based retreats at other places too. So that's it, and I wish you all well. Thanks for having me.